All right, so basically, this is just going to be a discussion on how to understand aggregate sites for statistics for League of Legends. Uh, my name's King Prime, aka NEKP. Um, on all the socials, Ion Esports, Ion Esports on Twitter, Ion Esports on Instagram, Facebook, all those things. So make sure that you tune in. Drop a follow on the stream or drop a like on any of the platforms, and so you can stay up to date. I'm still learning and growing, so hopefully this isn't a terrible watch and this isn't a terrible go through. I didn't script any of this, so this is a little bit free flowing, but a little bit premeditated. Um, from time to time, I'll be checking out the chat stream just if there are any questions. I kind of wanted to do what my understanding explanation of aggregate sites. So people go, what is an aggregate site? And probably the most popular aggregate site would be right now would be something like an op.gg or a u.gg. So an aggregate site is a site that collects the stats of the game of League of Legends. Certain ones are a little bit more in depth, where you can break them down between MMR. Oh no, not tier list champions. Where you can break them down between MMRs pertaining to rank, patch, region, which is really, really nice. Um, you also see and you also find a lot. Oh, I have to put a chat window on this one too. I'll see if I can multitask. But for the most part, these are wait, which one is my chat window? Now I'm confused. Hold on. If I go to no in game, pre and post. So I have my face cam, my webcam, and the window capture. I want to say the window capture is the game, the webcam. Huh. I'll figure it out as we go along. But let's go back to the display, because I want you guys to be able to see the comments as you're going. But anyway, they take the statistics in games played over hundreds of thousands of matches, and they start breaking them down into what they believe are tier lists, win rates, pick rates, ban rates. But here's the thing that I always find interesting. If you go to any 2 or 3 stat sites, you'll find, yeah, I'm gonna hop in a game in a bit. I don't know if you're watching just yet, but I will be there. If you go to any 2 or 3 stat sites, you will find that for their tier list, for their pick list, they're always different, and becomes which is right. Well, if none of them correlate, or if none of them are the same, then aren't all of them trash? That kind of like becomes the way people kind of look at them. Like, why do you even bother? One of the things that I hear all the time is like, oh, you know that this is what's meta, this is what's busted, this is what's broken. And a lot of times the majority of aggregate sites are actually only pulling from um, platinum and above, platinum plus. So when you're talking about broken or OP, you're talking about a very, very particular um, range of statistics. We're not talking about the for the overall game. I will shortly, my man. But right now I'm doing this, and then I'm gonna get into the game. So we're talking about um, looking at what you can take from a aggregate site to make it make sense for what you're understanding, what you're looking at. So if you look at something like a, let's go with op.gg, right? op.gg will generally give you, I would say op.gg is the standard. op.gg gives you all a basic tier for top. Well, it breaks it down into tiers, champions in the tiers by their role. And you're looking at top lane, jungle, mid lane, bottom, and support. You kind of wonder what makes a tier. It tells you champion tiers calculated based on multiple in-game statistics and platinum plus games such as pick and ban rate, win rates, gold earn experience, CC score, KDA, damage taken / dealt, and etc. etc. for solo duo ranked only. So that's the other thing. This is really a metric for ranked. So when you're looking at this, you're learning about ranked gameplay. You're learning about ranked. Um, it's showing you and it's telling you these are your top aggregated collective set of data points or information, and makes this site believe that this is why this champion is strong. So like I said, op.gg has the ranks. Normally these top number one picks, sometimes I believe they have a golden or a special rank if a champion is far and away better than all the other champions. It'll show, boom, like all of these will, or that champion will just get a special indicator marker. Next, beyond tier, you have your win rates. Your win rates are predicated on just the sheer number of wins that a champion gets. And this is Plat Plus for op.na.gg, right? So you can take those and kind of start looking at, okay, so this is an all champion. So look at the win rate and you look at the pick rate. And a lot of times when people focus on the pick rate, it can become a little deceptive because your pick rate or your win rate can be very, very dependent on your pick rate. So a champion like Aurelion Sol with a 55% win rate, but only a 1.9 win rate, that's a very, very low pick rate for a champion with a high win rate, which essentially means Aurelion Sol is being played by one tricks, being played by the same number of people. Whereas if you look at Senna, has a 52% win rate, but is played by almost, 18.5%. That's a very, very high pick rate. That means 1 out of 5 games, you're going to have a Senna on or against you, or on your team or against your team, with a higher than 50% chance of winning that game. That's including all the people that are just first timing her, all the people that are just adding her, all the people, hey, Jerry, are you tipping over here? Holy smokes, I appreciate the tip, 420, 420. Baby, I appreciate you and love you from the bottom. I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. I am using a different thing, so I don't have any sound effects on this scene. I will set the scene. I just kind of threw this together so I could do this portion where I could talk about the aggregates and how to kind of understand and how to kind of break it down before trying to hopping in the game. I'll do this for a little bit and then I'm going to play a game, of course, and then I'll hop back into a little bit of discussion, and hopefully you guys will keep me going and do a little bit of back and forth if you have any questions or anything, or if you feel like you want to contest the point. Same thing with Blitzcrank. You know, you see these champions with high, I would say anything over 10, anything over 15, really, close to 15 is a relatively like really, really high pick rate. So when you look at the pick rate for champions like Lee Sin are ultra popular, right? Because if you look, like, once you get past, so basically anything over the jump is, let's see, you got 10, 10, 11, 12. So I'd say anything over, 15 and higher, because it goes 15, then it goes to almost 20, and then you're in the stratosphere picks. So if you're looking and you're finding champions that have these super high pick rates, but then are also floating around 50% as well as above 50%, that champion I would consider strong or overpowered. Champions that have, like back when Lucian and Ezreal had almost 50%, these stats are not efficient during path times. They show you the one tricks that come out. So again, I touched on that, talking about so when you have a low pick rate, when you have a low pick rate champion, the lower the pick rate and the higher the win rate. Patch, I saw the correction. When you have a lower pick rate and a higher win rate champion, that essentially means that that's only the one tricks playing that champion. There's not a huge number of people bringing the win rate down. But when you have a high pick rate and a high win rate, then that's necessarily a problem where the champion may be over-tuned to an extent. Like Lee Sin being almost at 40%, that means what? Out of 5 games, he's going to be in 2. That's 4. Yeah, 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10 games, 2 out of 5 games. He's going to be there a lot with an almost 50-50 chance of winning. He's just a little under 50. But then you have to think about it. If he's being played that much, and you have all the people who don't know how to play Lee Sin, and let's be real, Lee Sin is a difficult champion to play, but he's still winning almost 50% of his game. That's high. Kaisa, that's high. You're looking at these champions that, again, have these high pick rates, high win rates. Likewise, when people are making their tier lists, I don't have like Mobalytics, but when they're making their tier lists, where you see this is all roles, you see they have their S tier or S plus tier, S tier, A tier, and then it'll go all the way down to, I don't know, maybe D, maybe F. I'm not sure how they break it up. But they have all these different criterias for that. I'm just going to go to top lane just for now, just to pick, because, you know, Lord and Savior Ascension sent me. So for U.GG is saying that Darius, Plat Plus, Darius, Mordekaiser, and Garen are their S tier champions. Now, as you can see, their win rates are all above 50%, and their pick rates are close to 10%, which is still really, really high, with Darius having a 32% ban rate. Now, that's crazy high as well. But again, he's a very, very strong champion. YouTube also has a huge influence over favorites in game. Like those. This champ is busted when you... Yeah. And that's true too. You'll see someone such as Phylaw, you'll see RVZ Stealth, you'll see even videos by Exil or those Mobalytics and Pro Guides videos. When those come out, I guarantee you, when those come out, if there was a way to track the champions mentioned in the high tier or overpowered list for those guides, you would see a huge spike in those champions being played for that day, because a lot of people are looking. Some people are one tricks, of course. Some people are jack of all trades and play everything. But then most players, I feel, are just trying to find the strongest champion, the most busted champion, the best champion to play on the patch, how to cheese wins. Anything that's over 55%, anything that's over anything. I'm a one trick support. Oh yeah. But we'll talk about one tricks and things, because again, we're talking about the whole low play rate for one tricks and high ban rate. Most people want to feel good. Actually, I'll be having another discussion and conversation about mental health in gaming, but I wanted to try this as kind of like a dry run, just to try to figure out the screen orientation and that over there with the picture and stuff, and a few things that I have to work on. So this is a good test run. But like I was saying, in looking at some of these stats, we have champions that are really, really good. Personally, because of Conqueror with its healing, I think Kled is S tier. But that's just my personal opinion, and not this aggregate site saying, hey, pick Kled. Just because everybody's running around with additional healing and Conqueror, whereas Kled has built-in grievous wounds on his Q. You know, I think that's just something that would inherently cancel out Conqueror, Hecarim Bot is silly. Yes, Conqueror, Hecarim Bot is very strong. Conqueror on this patch 9.23, you see Conqueror setting the meta. I think early game jungle aggression setting the meta, because early game jungle aggression translates into early game dragons. And because of the lack of comeback mechanics, you tend to see what's the word I'm looking for? Because of the lack of early game comeback mechanics, you tend to see, got room for one. Doing a vid now. I'll hop in later. Yeah. Early game comeback, or early game, reset. Because of early game aggression from junglers, being able to secure them early game dragons, you're seeing that also curtail the meta. It's also being able to shift it and control what the meta is looking like. as well as so with Conqueror being really really broken on ranged champions that are able to spellcast and auto attack to get their Conqueror stacked incredibly fast versus just having to utilize auto attacks to stack Conqueror. And for the duration of Conqueror staying so long on this patch, you're seeing, yes, it's a very, 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 very strong keystone currently. For your screen setup, I suggest playing League videos like Johnny Music instead of the little home screen. I candy basically, besides your beard. Thank you. I'm trying, because right now we're actually just discussing these. I did have this playing as like some music in the background just because who doesn't like this song? Come on. Riot's knocking it out of the park with some of these with these tracks. Yeah. Um but we're in the discussion about just talking about stats and how to use these sites. Because really what I wanted to get down anyway, go on, yeah. What I wanted to break down and what I wanted to discuss is how to use these sites. Because they can be confusing. You on one site and it's like, okay, this is what I should be playing, or when you go into statistics, you're seeing for top lane, like by win rate, this is their win. Garen, Nasus, Mordekaiser, Malphite, and Yorick. But then you go to op.na.gg, and by win rate, Garen, Yorick, Mordekaiser, Ornn, and Hecarim. Where's Nasus on that list? You go to top lane, win rate, Mordekaiser, Malphite, Garen, Noxtree, and Yorick. Wait, where are the other champions that were mentioned on the other list? Like it begins to get really confusing as to how you should be looking at these. And realistically, I think your best benefit that you're going to get from utilizing these aggregate site is trying to find the common denominator, one or two champions in the common denominator that fit in your wheelhouse of champions, that fit in your style of play, and you wanting to progress and get your wins. You know, if you are a Kennen, if you are someone who plays like Kennen range tops, your Kennen tops, your Quinn tops, but you're seeing these are all melee bruisers in the top 5 here. You go here, melee bruisers. You go here. Oh, that's another one I was going to discuss. Melee bruiser. None of these are ranged. You kind of go, wait, what am I supposed to play? How am I supposed to feel good about this? How am I supposed to win? And you start to see and you start maybe questioning, well, this doesn't make any sense for me, right? But then you might say, oh, if I switch to mid lane, this is taking a little bit longer. Switch to mid lane, you might see some more favorable matchups. And a lot of times, yeah, you would think like, oh, I should play my ranged top laner into these matchups. But my response to that would be like, then why aren't the ranged top laners overwhelmingly the most dominant on these charts here? You know what I mean? If they were that good, you would see them populating the charts. But you don't get into it. Okay, so Cassiopeia is abusing Conqueror. You don't see a ranged top. Heimerdinger is number 19, and then Quinn. We're talking about almost 20 posts down after Cassiopeia, or 10 posts down after Cassiopeia, but 20 in the whole chart until you really start seeing two ranged tops. Kennen down here at 27, right? This is still in the win rate. Let's go back over to this. You're looking at, and we'll go back over the top lane. Still in win rate. Quinn at 7, Cassio, Urgot. So that's showing a strong correlation. Also, doesn't Korea skew the ranking since Koreans are more for early game fiestas? Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're discussing. This is set for Worlds, but the standard for na.op.gg is Korea. So if you change it to North America, I don't think it changes dramatically, but there might be some deviation. No, it just shows Korea. Why it only shows Korea is interesting. And I don't think there's a way for me to change that. But na.op.gg is showing Korea. U.gg is really, really nice because, yes, you can set the region that you want to look at. And it kind of helps you understand, oh, wow, they're playing this here. They're playing that there. They're doing all these other things. Champion.gg. I know it's showing us these, but it doesn't I don't believe it gives us where they're pulling the stats from. Riot Games. So who knows where they're getting these stats from. But again, my biggest thing that I want anyone watching to take away from this is if you look at these sites, oh, and League of Graphs. League of Graphs, you go to the ranking and stats, champion. Let's just go to champion overview. All right. And this is pulling from all regions. So this is another site where it gives you more control to break down, okay, I am in gold, right? So we're going to go with gold in NA. Where am I? Rixel 96. Thank you for the sub, or thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Let's see. I feel like NA has a longer laning phase. Wait, sorry, I was in game. Oh, you're good. Right now we're just talking about how to use these aggregate sites to understand how to kind of like achieve or how to read the aggregate sites to do better at League of Legends. Because like I said, I often hear people complaining about, well, so-and-so is broken, so-and-so is broken. And my general reply is like, but are they broken in bronze? Are they broken in like diamond? Because like, how many times, if you can just put a letter number 1 or whatever in the chat, if you've ever been in a game as a carry champion that's OP and still lost. You're playing Echo Jungle. Your team still manages to feed and you still lose. You're playing Fiora top. You still manage to feed and lose. Or not you, but your team still. Because, yes, maybe in Diamond and Challenger and all those other things and Platinum, those champions can carry because the player base also understands like, oh, this person's fed. Let's all follow that person and get this easy win. Whereas in the lower you go, everybody wants to carry. Therefore, everyone's almost on edge and overextends, misplays. The pressure is always on, and the next thing you know, bada bing, bada boom. Your team gets aced at the Baron right before the Baron. You lose your AD carry gets caught split pushing. Yeah. You feel like NA has a longer laning phase. Yeah. So that none of these sites that I found have been able to show, because I mean, what is the laning phase? This gets into the meta narrative. What is laning phase? What is League of Legends, right? And you're talking about what is the laning phase. For me, I look at the laning phase as the period of the game after minions spawn and get to the where I say where they kiss in the middle. I don't know what to call it, but they actually like meet and the minions start fighting. And now you're in laning phase, right? But the question then becomes, what ends laning phase? For some people, once you break the first tower, laning phase is over. But for other people, once they're too far behind to contest or to stay in the lane, laning phase is done. For other people, if they're still smashing lane, they want to extend the laning phase because they don't want to rotate or move to a different position where they will lose their power spike or lose their strength, you know? So it's kind of like what makes the laning phase. I remember when, well, it might be a little bit back now because of the tower plating and the strength of the towers with the extended, with the additional armor. But I remember back in like season 3 and season 4, if I was winning in lane, I would purposefully keep the tower up because the majority of the people that I played against and myself believed as long as your T1 towers, your tier 1 towers were still up and still viable or still alive, you could, like, it was the best time to you were still in laning phase. You're still going to combat, you're still going to go for CS, you're still going to fight each other, right? But as the game progressed for a while there, laning phase became so short because of things like active jungle ganking, like a jungler's priority for ganking over farming kind of thing, where it made more sense for the jungler just to kind of camp in a lane versus vice versa, versus like not camping in the lane, like fighting or whatever. Farming. Again, like I said, this isn't scripted. This is a little free flow. It's just a little bit of things that I've been thinking about for just trying to aid and help when it comes to this. But gotta think about what I was saying. Yeah, what is laning phase for NA, and what does that? And because of that, let's go back to these sites, right? Let's look at which champions right now. If we look at 9.23, we talk about laning phases. What champions do best in the laning phase that they're showing? Well, they have Garen, who may be the most lane dominant, strongest lane bully in the game. And that's one thing I'm going to just go quickly back and forth and say. I miss Devour. Oh my god. Fatal or Feral Flare. With the new patch, I feel like laning phase is history due to the need for new OP objectives like two Herald's drag contest them. So what I've seen more and more is that the dragons. So what Riot has been wanting to have happen, I will say, since what was the most boring worlds? One more friendly suggestion. Maybe have a banner saying what the topic is so you don't have to. Oh, that is so smart. See, like, man, this is why I do this, because I'm always learning. I'm new to streaming. So I appreciate all the constructive criticism. I appreciate the insight, and I appreciate this back and forth and conversation that we're having right now. This is pretty dope. Um so what I will say is I want to say season 2 was dope. I appreciate it. Season 3, what was it? Season 3 was dope. Season 2 was good, but the game was still crazy. In season 1, we don't even talk about that. That's when they had like double bruiser bot lanes and all that crazy stuff, right? And double jungle and things of that nature, right? So we're talking season 2 had a pretty decent developed meta. Season 3 has kind of been the staple of the meta that we play off of. Season 4, for a lot of people, 3 and 4 were like the golden eras. They did buff up supports, but it was still in a place where every lane kind of had their priority and things kind of, you were still playing the game individually in a sense, and then would show up, let's see, the turret shield meta. I mean, you could call this, or last season, turret shield meta as well as this season, but the reason why was only kind of like a backlash to a patch or something that came in season 8 that we'll get to in a second, right? And then I want to say maybe it was season 5 or season 6, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Okay, season 5 or season 6, where they had I think it might have been 6. It was just boring. Oh, the turret lasers. Oh my, yeah, I forgot about turret lasers. RIP the turret lasers. And Wolf Spirit that used to follow you around in the jungle. Yeah, the turret lasers, there was a time where the turrets used to fire, and then there was an entire year where they just shot lasers at you. Because on 92, Brody, you don't even want to know the gist of it, because I've already spent like a ton of it on Chroma since it's the Blue Essence Emporium. So yeah. Yeah, but the thing was, the lasers used to ramp up, and the lasers were actually, in my opinion, the lasers were weaker than the way the beams ramp up, because they also adjusted that after the laser thing. But anyways, like season 6 was probably the most boring worlds. It was almost like cut and dry. You knew what was going to happen. You knew how the game was going to play out. The better team, the more standard or structured team would win the game. You could grind out a game or play into far and away the way late game, and you'd be able to do that, right? So Riot, in their infinite wisdom, started trying to figure out, I'll say from season 3, when it was like a solo carry meta, the mid laner or the top laner could 1v9. Season 4, similarly, your mid laner, your AD carry, if they got hyperfed, could solo carry. Then you saw some shifts being made to how experience and gold and things like that. And we will get back to the aggregate site stuff. But just kind of going on a small tangent, you saw Riot kind of go deviate from that style to try and introduce more skirmishes, more fights, more entertaining gameplay, because they're smart. They're a smart company. I mean, they do really dumb stuff from the corporate side of things, but from the game side of things, yes, I'm talking about the $10 million lawsuit buyout or settlement. Jesus. But yeah, from the game development, the game side of it, you would see diverse, good or bad, introductions of mechanics and things, or even a withdrawal of certain mechanics that made the game accelerate fast, like wards. Lawsuits are nothing. They're just They just released Teemo skins to fix it. That's a big fact. They could easily just release another Luck Ari skin if they're really hurting, just like 10 more anime skins, and they'll be like, all right, we re-upped all the lawyer fees and the payout. Considering that they had a $10 million settlement, and I believe in 2016 or 2017 they made $1 billion off of microtransactions. Yes, financially, Riot will be okay. And for the most part, the player base isn't going anywhere. If anything, they've hit their plateau where their player base isn't growing, but at the same time, it isn't falling off. There was a time where people league is dying, but once the rubber hits the road, you realize that League of Legends is actually doing pretty well. But again, back to the gameplay, they understood that the game was kind of getting stagnant, getting boring. People were kind of just being like, "Oh, they drafted better. Oh, they, figured out that this is like the smarter way to play League of Legends and yada yada yakety smackety." And Riot said, "We're gonna do things about that." They took away wards. Supports could only get wards. Oh, supports weren't able to have a Sightstone, like first back and buy Sightstone. So if you go all the way back, supports used to buy like 4 item slots worth of Sightstones. Then Riot did away with that, or wards. Supports used to buy 4 slots worth of wards and boots. That was the meta. And then they created Sightstone and put a cap on the extra wards that you could have. Then they took away Sightstone and added the support items that upgraded into a Sightstone item. And now you have the support item that you can't even upgrade yourself. You just have to complete your quest. So just in minimalizing and taking away vision, they've made the game a lot more dangerous and a lot more entertaining, a lot more engaging or action filled because they're looking for more skirmishes and fights. Before this patch, let's see, originally only one support item was geared towards warding. Yeah, warding and dewarding when they had Oracle's elixirs. So you would ward and then you would just walk around with Oracle elixirs and deward. It was just that was the battle for vision. Now the battle for vision is like, well, I know my pink ward's here and I'm just going to protect that all day long. Versus I'm going to clear all this vision out, set up all this vision. Now that happens in higher play or if you're a really, really good support, but a lot of times that can be a little bit dangerous. But going back to, they added the scuttle. Whoa. Now we're going to have this scuttle that appears in the river. Scuttle's also my favorite. I love Scuttle. But they're going to add the scuttle that appears in the river. I remember when pink words were invisible. What? Oh, the white? Yeah, I remember the white. And then Gromp ate him. So then, when they added Scuttle, they wanted junglers to have something to fight over. They wanted something for junglers to contest. And when they originally added Scuttle, there was only one Scuttle that randomly appeared, and it would either help somebody or harm somebody. Because let's say you were blue side, and the Scuttle appeared on the bot side of the river. Your blue side, Scuttle's on the bot side. You get your what is it called? You get your leash and red buff versus if you're purple side and you go from blue buff down, now you're sitting there having to fight. Now you're sitting there having to fight at Scuttle versus somebody who just got a red buff leash versus someone who got a blue buff leash. 9 times out of 10, if all things are even, the red buff jungler probably won that fight, right? And it became mismatched and uneven. Then they added 2 Scuttles, and then they changed the experience on Scuttles. Then they changed the times that Scuttles spawned on Scuttles, and then Riot in season 9 said, "You know what? Forget this. We're just gonna add these crazy dragons, and we're gonna have Rift Herald spawn twice." Now the game's hyper aggressive in the early game, but it is supposed to be around early game skirmishes. I think the problem that players in our MMR, players in our ELO tend to find is we don't skirmish very well. We just all in and fight and die, or all in and fight and win. It's not a huge variance between all inning or going into the skirmish. Okay, this is the example that I use. If you watch like a professional team, like a professional Korean team go in, They will fight each other, blow half, if not all, their ultimates. They'll blow all their cooldowns. People will have flashes up and down. It'll be the craziest team fights. All the abilities will be expanded, and there'll be maybe one death on each side. And you just go, how the hell did everybody make it out of that fight? Now go back to like below Golden Below. One person steps too far forward, somebody gets hooked, everybody runs into each other, and depending on who clicks their buttons better and or faster, everybody dies, and you're happy if like an AD carry is the last person standing, because then at least they can take an objective. But half the time it's like the Soraka that landed the banana that KS the pentakill or whatever, and it goes like four for one, and the Soraka's just like, all right guys, I'm gonna solo the dragon. Aced. All right, Rito gave him, wait, what am I looking? Scuttles were crazy. Scuttled. Yes, I remember when Scuttle used to screw over. Michaela, or is it Michaela? Michaela raid. I'm getting raided. Holy smokes! Thank you. This is pretty dope. With a party of 15. Thanks for stopping by, everyone. In Michaela's raid and Michaela's chat. Hell yeah, I appreciate it. Right now, we're just discussing and talking about aggregate sites. We were doing like an overview of League of Legends, how to utilize the aggregate sites and figure out, the game to an extent, and how to use these things, the metrics to win. But then we kind of started going down memory lane and trying to get to a point where we understand why the game is the way it is for this patch. What is going on? I appreciate the raid. I've never actually been raided. This is my first raid, and welcome to the channel. I want to welcome all the raiders. I don't know if can the raiders hear me, or can they only see what I type? Welcome. And thank you. Oh, we can hear you. Oh. Should be both. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for hanging out. They can see your stream. Sick. All right. So this isn't my normal setup, but I'm doing this because I wanted to do something different. For just explaining and talking and discussing things. But where were we? Thanks for breaking King. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, thank you very, very much. Wait, how do I follow you? Right click? No. Regular kit. I can only add you as a friend. Do I have to go to yours? All right. Michaela. Oh, wait, you're hosting me? I thought it was just I don't know the difference. And now I see this is Streamception. Follow. Thank you for the host, and thank you for the raid. I really do appreciate it. Like I said, I'm new to this, and I'm trying to get better. King, you're beautiful. You cut that out, but I appreciate it. Scuttle becoming neutral rejected last season by giving more experience spawning earlier was so bad. Yeah. Do you like music? I'm actually a DJ. So I used to produce. That other desk is like my creative studio desk. And I'm planning on getting another camera to do like beat making and tracks and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely do enjoy music. Thanks for supporting the community. Yes, thank you. Anyway, yeah. So now with the Scuttle, with League saying, hey, this Scuttle thing kind of works, and we got people to fight over it. What if we just make all the objectives on the map super duper broken and make every I think that's New York Thrill or Nithrill. Thank you for following the channel. I appreciate it, and I'm appreciating it. Like I said, I'm broken right now because holy smokes, I've never been raided, let alone this is like really, really cool. But that led to so much more aggression, or it leads to so much more aggression. It leads to such a faster paced game and faster tempo. You like League of Legends wants that to happen. I don't know why I can't hear the thing though. I would like to hear like a little or something. And I when I'm on my other scene, it shows and it comes up. But I'm on this scene that I just kind of made up. It doesn't have any alerts or anything that play into my headphones, but I'll fix that. Where I thought it'd be super interesting, objective to have on the map to fight, but instead it led to a gift to your. Yeah, pretty much. Anything that you can give to the mid laner will help you accelerate the game, will help you speed up the game. Um, but yeah, just going back to that, really, Riot in their infinite wisdom wants a more exciting, they want a more fun game. They want people to be engaged. They want people to not just sit and kind of go, all right, this is step one. Okay, this is step two. We are now moving into step three. They want it to be like, oh my god, look at the moves, look at the plays, Faker, what was that? They want that excitement, but in a solo queue atmosphere. They want that to happen in your games. It's a way of keeping the game fresh. You know, it's like I've always said, League of Legends, instead of being iterative in being like League of Legends 1, League of Legends 2, League of Legends 3, League of Legends Black Ops, League of Legends World War Z. We get seasons, and each seasons is the same base game, but they go and change the jungle, or they change items, or they buff and nerf champions, or they change classes. And next thing you know, it's a completely different game. You know, different games, different champions are stronger. Different champions are showing up in the meta. Different champions are, you know. See, the jungle basically another support in the mid lane's eyes, or not the carry, aka me. Give me your shit. Yeah, I mean, for a long time, because I would say those are your older junglers. If those people are still playing the game, that's pretty cool. But a lot of those people aren't anymore. Well, maybe they aren't. I know I was there, but I was only like learning the mid lane. I switched to AD carry, and then I stopped caring about AD carry because they ruined the game. Anyway, for AD carries, the rest of the game became awesome, and it made me personally have to learn a new pool of champions. It made me have to learn a new wealth of the gameplay. It wasn't just like, oh, I just 2v2 all day. So you're gonna play some League. I'm gonna talk first. Yeah, no, I really wanna just have this discussion, talk to people. I do enjoy playing, of course. The game is coming. It's a coming. See, 20 people. Hey, yeah, for real. Let's go. I'm hype. I'm so hype. Where was I? League of Legends. This is the game that I'll be playing in a little bit. The hypeness around the game. Somebody remind me, what was I just talking about? I demand to be included. All right, Yipper. You will be included. I'll make the room. If you're after, then I can invite me. You're going to have to remind me who you are on my friends list. I'm just bad at. I didn't set up like a thing where I have everybody separated because I don't know how to do that. I'm just terrible at this. I'll be there too. You're Yip's brother. Oh, on. Okay, cool. Yipper, if you don't get out of here. Yes, if you have the same name on your as your what is this called? Friends list as your Twitch name, man, it makes it the folders vanish randomly. So it doesn't matter. Which folders? What folders? I don't know of these folders. What do you speak of? Anyway, but all of that being said, the game right now is in a place where I think Riot's happy. Riot's happy that there's a lot of skirmishes going on. There's a lot of choices. Oh yeah, I have these little folders. Riot has choices or gives I don't know whether it's the illusion of choice or whether it's actually giving choices. But for some people the game is a lot more fun. For others the game's in the worst state it's ever been in. I think the overall consensus is season 10 should be okay, barring that Riot does something crazy out of the preseason. All right, let's look at, and then bringing it all back, just kind of go. I would say your biggest key, your biggest strength is to maybe look at your roles. Look at the champion types, and the champions that you enjoy playing. If they're up here and they have a decent win rate, unless you're a one trick. If you're a one trick, none of this pertains to you. Don't worry about it. If you're one trick, you're just gonna one trick your champion, and you're just gonna climb, because as long as you put forth the effort and you put forth the attempt to, I don't know, learn your champion and do better game in and game out. Understand your matchups. You'll be fine as a one trick. This goes for everybody else who isn't a one trick. Realistically, yeah, you're gonna want to look at the champions, look at the ones that you're playing, look at the ones you're good at, and look at the ones that come across multiple lists. I normally go for top 5, maybe top 10 depending, but look at the ones that you continuously see. You go here, you see Garen, you see Mordekaiser, right? You know, you're seeing Yorick in a handful of them. I don't know if he's in that one or this one. Yorick, Garen, right? Mordekaiser. Then I would go, okay, that's showing me that these 3 popularity. Let's go win rate. Yorick, ADC, OP. A lot of things. I'm kind of a one trick. Oh, word. Very nice, very nice. One trick PC Master Race. Hey. I actually just played against a one trick Diamond 1 Tryndamere main who kicked my ass. It was crazy. He just ran over us. I thought we were doing okay, and then nah, it was a wrap. But yeah, use some of these champions, use them to your advantage, start understanding, like, okay, I'm seeing a lot of these champions, I'm seeing a lot of this champion. Like, if I would say right now, your best 3 champions to play on patch 9.23 would be Garen, Yorick, Mordekaiser. That's it for top lane. That would be it. If you wanted to look at something like the jungle, because the jungle, like a lot of people are saying, the jungle is very, very strong, right? Jungle has a lot of priority. Jungle. For some reason, that page always takes so long to. Oh, Mord is not. Yeah, Mord is really, really strong. Tells this little cell. Juniors, I love it. I love it. The Cell games was my shit. Dragon Ball Z was my shit. But yeah, if you go through, and now we're looking at jungler win rates. Please switch. Shaco, Mundo, Nunu, Zac, Warwick. So this is kind of showing me like the thick boys are winning, and then Shaco with his miniature rework and slight nerfs afterwards, and then Warwick's up, right? Then over here, you have Warwick, Nunu, Shaco, Echo, and Ivern. Now, whenever I see Ivern, you know it's going to be like a 1 or lower play rate. Just play thin, because he's a thick boy slayer. Or Vayne, because she's a thick boy slayer. But yeah, the one tricks are definitely helping push up the Ivern. Likewise, over here, you're seeing Warwick, Tryndamere, Nunu, Echo, and Jarvan. And solo queue Jarvan difference than competitive Jarvan. Solo queue Jarvan is generally more AD heavy, whereas competitive Jarvan is more of a tank build, sustain utility player. So yeah, just a little bit of things. Like I said, thank you again for the raid. I really did appreciate it. I don't know if any of you people are still around or still here, but that was really, really cool. Guys who are still here, I always appreciate you guys, regardless. We're going to hop into a game now, so I can go into my real screens. And let go. So, let's see. So we got Yipper. Wombo the Slick. Is that your in-game name? Am I adding that? I can bring, yeah, of course. Yes. Oh, Wombo's your brother? I thought Dragon was your brother. Or, I don't know anymore. Alright, here we go. We're doing it. Wait, no, not filter. I have to go to add. Request has been sent. Oh, yeah. Add. Oh, yeah. Boom. Here we are. And do we have everyone? Wait, now I have to go back to I joined. Yeah. On Discord because he's a nerd. Okay. So is that everyone? Anyone else coming through, jumping in, doing the things? If not, I'm going to hop into the voice comms. Nobody's in the voice comms. This is awkward. Hey. Let me just. All right. So this way my eardrums will get blown out because audio for my headset and the game audio is always just a little bit off.
Oh yeah, all the time. They can't make it easy.
Of course not. What up? What up?
Hola.
How we feeling? Where does everybody want to go?
Like on mid.
I can go top.
It's up to you. You can go do your thing, King. But,
Top or AD
Bobo and I
if you like.
usually go bot together.
Okay. Works for me. I can go mid or top. I think I'm going to go top. I want to play Mordekaiser. I'm not going to lie. And we're all set. That's everyone,
He
right?
doesn't get banned.
He doesn't get banned that often from what I've seen.
There we go. Boom. I do want to say thank you guys again for coming to the stream. I hope that it wasn't like crazy. And for everybody out there, because I did realize that I was still recording, I want to say thank you for coming to the stream. I'm still going to continue to stream, of course. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you learned a little bit of something and had a little bit of fun just listening to me talk and listening to me engage with everybody in the chat. Also, thanks again for the raid. That was pretty dope. Feel free to swing through or come back. Follow me on all the socials. Stream here at X King Prime, and you can find me at Eye on Esports on just about everything. Eye on Esports on Instagram. Eye on Esports on Twitter. It's my new social media. I'm gonna be trying to populate it and stuff in a little bit here. But I also want to do like league talk shows where we talk about League of Legends, or we talk about Overwatch League, or we talk about Paladins. We talk about any esports because it's Eye on Esports, not just like a League of Legends channel. So feel free to follow me there. I'll most likely post this video to YouTube. Feel free to, I think, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the meantime. Peace.